Right, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. It is my pleasure to introduce the Poet of the Hour. We are here to celebrate this book, which we have over there on the table, along with all of the other lovely books you've heard from tonight. Edward Vidaurre is the 2018-2019 McAllen Texas Poet Laureate and author of 6 collections of poetry, including his newest called Jazz House. He was the Director of Operations in 2018 for the Valle International Poetry Festival, moderator for Poets Responding, and founder of Pasta, Poetry, and Vino, a reading series in the Rio Grande Valley. Born and raised in Boyle Heights, California, he resides in McAllen. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. And I want to thank everyone who came out to read with me, FlowerSong family. I love you. You guys are wonderful. And it's exciting to listen to you because you're all different, you know. And so people ask me, what kind of publishing do you do? What do you publish? And I was like, well, they're all different. You know, you buy their books, read them, and when you see a post saying they're going to read somewhere, go check them out. But you're all different. You're all special. There's no way to describe it or to even say who, you know, what style. It's just everyone's so different. Everyone has a different voice, and I love you all for it. And I thank you for taking a chance with FlowerSong. And I want to say hi to Liliana Valenzuela, who we'll be publishing soon also through FlowerSong. So I just realized that I also wrote a poem titled I Wish You. And I usually read it at the end, you know, kind of like a I wish you all type thing. I'll do it, but, you know, I didn't realize it, but that's cool, right? Kind of, it's in the blood. So I'm going to read 2 poems that I wrote the other day after the images that came from the river down in the Rio Grande Valley of Valle and her father. I was devastated. You know, I described the hurt and the feelings of that. I put it up there for kind of at the same level as when I found out my dad passed away. I sobbed. I curled up on a couch. I just didn't understand why I was feeling that. And then I realized, you know, it was his father and his daughter, and I have a daughter. And they came from El Salvador. My family's from El Salvador. And it could have, you know, been family. It could have been my dad and myself. It could have been my mom and me. And so it just hit too close to home. And I guess what I do when stuff like that happens is right after, you know, feeling what I feel. And that happened also after Newtown, Connecticut, when all those children died in that massacre at the school. My daughter Bella was their age, kinder. And so I remember we had a reading that night at a local barbecue restaurant, and we got together and we talked about it. Should we have a reading after all this? And we're like, yeah, we need to. And so we all got together and kind of was born from that. And so we put together a collection through Zarape Press with Daniel called 20 in Memoriam. And so we gathered, you know, poets, kind of a call for, you know, submissions on healing poetry. And so that's kind of what happens with events like that. It just hits too close, and the only way to heal is sometimes through words. And so, yeah, I'll read these 2 and then I'll get into Jazz House. I've never read them, so I don't know the rhythm yet. I'll give it a shot. Canto Fronterizo. 1. Oh river, why do you weep? I see you flow, I see you flow. Oh river, when do you sleep? I hear you moan, I hear you moan. Oh river, why are you red? I see your body, I see your body. Oh river, why are you lost? I see you run, I see you run. Oh river, how can I help? Show me your hands, show me your hands. Oh river, show me your heart. grab onto the wind, grab onto the wind. 2. Rio Grande, return our dead. Start with the rocks in your belly. Rio Grande, return our dead. First the children, then the birds. Rio Grande, return our dead. The tresses of Mama. Rio Grande, return our dead. The gold tooth of Papa. Rio Grande, return our dead. 3. Tell me, rain, did you feel abandoned? Tell me, rain, did you hear voices? Tell me, rain, did the wind take you to dry land? Tell me, rain, what cloud pushed you off? Tell me, rain, what wandering song made you cry? 4. Border poet, why did you stop writing? 5. Keep your eyes on the children. Keep your eyes on the children. 6. Ay, tierra, qué tan grande es tu dolor. Será la lluvia el sonido de tu llanto. Ay, tierra, qué tan grande es tu llanto. Será el viento el susurro de tu dolor. 7. Cielo azul, ¿dónde se escondieron tus nubes? La cobija de mi tierra hace calor y los niños piden sombra. Cielo negro, ¿dónde está mi luna? Dos pájaros cantan su amor y nos encuentran en esta oscuridad. Cielo gris, ayúdame a encontrar mi sombra. Se fue con mi amor en sus manos, un quetzal y las llaves de mi casa. 8. ¿Dónde están los niños? ¿Dónde están? ¿Dónde? 9. It's not that the flowers don't bloom, they are dreaming. I know the road to you. I'm just waiting for my horse to finish drinking water. It's not the wind speaking, it's the water waiting and slicing through the tendrils of the earth's tresses. The voice comes from the water, the wind is mute. I know the scent of the hyacinth. Their dead are scattered across the land, taking last breaths, leaving its blue song to struggle alone. 10. Come here, pray with me. Come here, sit with me. Come here, hold on to me. Come here, sing with me. Come here, wish with me. Come here, dance with me. Come here, grow old with me. Come here, run with me. Come here, breathe with me. Come here, bleed with me. Come here, don't let me die alone. I think it's when I get nervous that my mouth dries up. You know? Feels like I'm biting into tierra. I've seen the face of the sea smash into stone. She wanted me to see the power in dying, and for good measure did it again and again and again, frothing her salt blood to the tips of my toes. The sea dies and is resurrected because she is otherworldly and can. I've seen the wind smash into a tree and spread her wind blood up into the branches. She wanted the birds perched and content to know her strength, but the birds wanted the same God gift, smashing into buildings to their death. Feeling the wind lift their feathers one last time, you could almost see a smile if you call a cracked beak a smirk. The wind swoops their throat song and takes it away. I've seen the moon stare into the ocean at least once, and I've seen the reconstruction of a new spine to divide two brothers along a river, not to help it lay straight, but to cripple it into an unmovable serpent. The sea will command the wind to head face first into this divide with force. A bird will be perched high above, singing sad songs with broken beak and sorrowful eyes. The wind will ask the bird why the wall won't move or break, and the bird will lift its wings and ride the voice of the wind to the other side, where the children and men and women lay face down on the scalp of God. The wind will follow and settle to mourn with all of nature. Jazz House. Jazz House was the book I wrote when we moved into our new home. We were listening to jazz. Jazz was throughout the house. In the restroom when I was showering, when I was changing in the other room, making coffee, sitting down to write, there was always some kind of jazz going on. There was, it was just always there. And I noticed that in some of my writings in the past, in one of my books, Insomnia, I use a lot of jazz too in the writing. And I love all kinds of music, I love all kinds of music. I even challenge myself to write love poems listening to heavy metal. And, but I try to, try to sneak into poetry any which way I can and try to write something. But jazz has always been constant. And so there's this home that's where I live, just a few streets down, and it's a beautiful old home. To me, it's beautiful. It's like the back of the house, which I always see. And it looks like it's been housed by so many families. When you move in somewhere and you put in a new cable, they go and put in a new wire or a new phone line or something. Well, it's got tons of it. So it looks like veins on the back of that house, and it's just so cool. It's decrepit, and you don't know if there's AC in there. You don't know if the floors are hardwood. You just know that it's just beat down, somebody in there's a struggle going on. But I love it, and so I took a picture of that, and from that I started just kind of using that concept to write Jazz House. And so I'll read a little bit about it. And this is a poem I wrote when I became McAllen Poet Laureate. I decided I need to write a city poem, I guess, right? That's what you got to do as a poet laureate. So I wrote a city poem, and this one is titled In My City. In my city, trees sway a slow dance to the leg song of the chicharra, to the long stretched accordion, to the hiccups of 2 a.m. taco truck partygoers. Tlacuaches maraud at midnight with handy footwork across lawns, grappling the humidity, eating away at the molding bananas and lettuce offerings left out in a bowl, as a thank you for snacking on mosquitoes and cucarachas. Dogs bark at barking dogs that bark at wolf moons and the incoming fog, at wobbly tire passing cars, stray cats and late night chatter from insomnia-stricken artists burning the midnight oil. I pass by a home with a chandelier hanging from a branch, another with a year-round yard sale, and several with red doors, with scattered leaves from anaqua trees confettied across their lawns. The people in this city move about like ants, carrying the weight of life and hard work. Grackles stretch their song in long verses like the summers here. I set my car on cruise control over the expressway and park on a lot to see airplanes descend while scraping the syrup top off my chamoyada raspa. I look at my phone, and a friend just posted another photo of palm trees under the hashtag RGV Palmas. On Sundays, we choose barbacoa or tamales or menudo for the cruda after being rattled awake by the neighbor's lawnmower. I've been stretching my bones across the RGV from San Benito to Mission and in between, but long to settle in McAllen, where my poems found their muse and my dog ages at my feet. And I'm nervous too, so it's probably, I always get nervous because you're vulnerable, right? You're reading your truth. Sometimes, it's stuff that was painful. Leaving the candle on overnight, one invites the dead. Leaving a candle on overnight invites roaming spirits that walk in the shadow of the moon's smile. I wait for the hands of my dead father to hold mine. There's plenty of room in my new home now for his luggage, his disease, and his dead suit. 2. She waits for her father to visit and sit on our couch. She bakes a chocolate cake in her dreams with strawberries, just as he loved. She has a placemat that's been empty for too long now. I see him with his long fingers to his mouth telling me not to wake her. He loves her silence and sound sleep. He cries into her hair, then walks slowly through the walls. 3. On most nights, the granddaughter goes to bed not knowing while she sleeps and dreams of dance class and storytelling that one man sits at her side feeding her mangoes. The other man sits at her feet, trying to communicate in a language that was forced back to the jungles of his country. He begs to be called abuelo. I'm in love with our house, and the wood flooring, and the creaking under my bare feet, and my walk over to the kitchen for a glass of water, all leading back to you. In love with the bending hiss of the cat and their hideout, the broom closet. Our cookbooks that opt out of my favorite dish, pupusas revueltas, and the motion in the king-size bed, all leading back to you. In love with her music choices, the sound of faint trumpet sounds, melancholic piano suicides that are given second chances, and our future flower beds, tree swing, winter storms, and child, all leading back to you. In love with gossip and the mystery behind the words and the truth behind the lies and the cutting of ties and relief, all leading back to you. In love with colors, the way our bedroom becomes an ocean and our living room becomes a cliff overlooking the city and our windows let the light in, all leading back to you. Grandma has secrets. My friend's grandma held secrets tucked in her knee-high stockings, sometimes hidden in her bra, along with those tissues for decades of tears where no one would ever dare get them. A closet in her bedroom held a bundle of secrets in hat boxes. She put some away in her husband's inside coat pocket seconds before they lowered him into the ground and sent him away with whispers that hold the night. My friend's grandma has secrets. She leaves some on the bingo ink blots on Wednesday nights. She mixes them up in the white hot coals on football Sunday. Her secrets are in poems. They're floating in the river. They're missing. They're suspects in all things guilty. She sits on her rocking chair, knitting them into booties for her grandchildren, indecipherable secrets. It's noon. She has the biggest secret thawing out in a sink under cool running water. See, I also named the jazz house so that when I get dry mouth, the jazz player comes on and kind of blows the sax for a while. I grew up on a concrete bed of oil-spilled asphalt. Moved to a motorhome community next to Compton's iconic rap scene, back to a neighborhood south of East LA, and into the meticulous and well-trimmed landscaping of Beverly Hills. Back to the heart of Boyle Heights, and now I'm in Texas. In all my life, I never really appreciated the murals and community chants of brown pride. Instead, I struggled with identity of Chicanismo, Guanaco, Pinche Pocho, etc. Today, I live 1 block north of the historic part of town, where 2 houses to my right, kids spill onto the street while their mamas sit on beach chairs, drinking and smoking. The neighbor, an electrician, and we play jazz while we cook breakfast and drink fizzy water. A drive down the street, there's a beautiful imperfect home, decrepit and veins running down her back, the rewiring of many years and many residents later. All that is left is chipped paint, an achy roof with broken shingles, the clogged arteries of the wood-framed home, and windows that resemble a frightened low Tune from a radio, a classic love song, a Mexican tune about her eyes and lips that went untouched. I never felt the baby move. He sent me whispers through his mother's breast milk. That evening, we played on the couch and kissed. We told each other stories with our tongues, and I put her in my mouth hole. Like a baby, I sucked the gush of sweet, warm milk. It danced on my tongue before free falling down my throat. I came off of her, her eyes still crossed and coming back from another realm. I smiled, and she looked down at her dripping breast. She wore her lips just right. The moon settled for the next 6 years over us, and I never saw the baby's eyes. We moved in together and made a home built on necessity. We tried driving out loneliness with each other's own bodies. We made love, and the sheets cried under us. She preferred 80s pop to my gangster rap. Her skin was porcelain in color, shattered china beneath her scars. Our child came and went like the waxing crescent moon. He was pulled apart by the clinic death squad, first the jaw, so I would never hear him cry. Then the fingers, so he wouldn't reach. Lastly, his heart, so he could never love. But they forgot his soul that haunts my dreams and lays at the feet of his sister. When the moon is relaxing, I see him. We broke up 4 years after he died. She looked down at her belly and never saw me walk out that door. Yeah, that one hurt. I haven't read that one. Jazz House. I tossed my copy of China Cowboy inside my 9-year-old's bathtub basket, spilling her conditioner made for rebellious hair. I need to remember to get it out before she reads it, before she asks, why can't girls with flat faces be cowgirls? I waited for her to return home. I sat and wrote a letter to God. I tore it up and wrote it again and tore it again. When she came home, she was in tears. I wondered if she felt his last breath inside before the forceps grabbed on. I sat drinking coffee, dipped the pan dulce, losing some of it to the bottom of the chicory blend. I need instructions on how to bleed right. I need to know this before I put my bones out for sale. I saw a coqui frog swallow a little girl whole, a trumpet cry into an alley being followed by pieces of children, toes and hearts, cancer waiting in line for meds. I saw a woman knitting herself a hand with her feet. A storm approached, and as it neared my heart filled with love, it was her violent, jazzy voice. Where was Leonard Cohen during the riots? When I fell in love with a Salvadoran girl with green eyes and dimples. When I fell off my bike and left my grin on the asphalt near the blood clot gutter. Where was Nina Simone when you broke my heart and chose the other vato to hold hands with? When I learned how to kiss after writing you a long love letter penned with Hallmark mushy metaphors. When the earth announced autumn. Where was Frank Sinatra when it rained on Halloween and you didn't come home for Christmas? Where was the music when Kurt Cobain disappeared into the couch? When Marilyn was covered in a satin sheet of conspiracy? Where will you be when my hands no longer can hold a pen and you see nothing but an empty landscape in the hazel eternity of my eyes? This one's inspired by Ginsberg and by another poem I wrote, so I guess it goes back to Ginsberg, right? El Super. I saw your breasts among the tamarindo and wrote about life. I saw your eyes dangling with the garlic cloves and wrote about the scent of a river, cold and forgotten. I saw your soul in the freezer section, a small bag behind the broccoli, and wrote about purgatory. I saw your lips and wrote about strawberry fields. I saw your hands being picked with the avocados. I saw your face on the milk carton, organic, expired. I used to dream a lot about my grandpa, and we never speak in our dreams. And I'm always a little boy, and he's always holding my hand, and he's always wearing the same suit, and so sometimes I think a lot about him when I'm writing. And I wrote this one, and I was thinking of him, and I was thinking of him laying down, but with my face kind of weird, you know. City of God. I woke up with the weight of my beard across my body. It had grown down to my feet. It was thick and coarse. There were people living on it. From the braid on my chest, I could smell the food they were cooking. Down by my waist, my beard had the shape of hills with goats and other animals running around. I saw giants by my ankles, gentle and helping little people move up from the sheets by my feet. I sneezed and lost a race of people to the right side of my knees, where down below my cat ate them all. Quickly from my mouth emerged millions of babies that crawled to the open land where those same people fell off. By afternoon, a city was built, and by nightfall, the violence began. I closed my eyes, and a darkness fell over them all. In my slumber, I could hear cries, moans, and whispers of bad intentions. If this continues, I will shave in the morning, keeping only a mustache where across my lips dwell a goddess and a man.
That's your best plug.
You like that one?
I like that. A little surrealistic.
I'll read two from a book that will be coming out hopefully in the winter. And then I'll read the last one. It's there's been a lot of sunflowers. On the way here, I was remembering that the last time we drove this way, there were a lot of pretty flowers, you know, spring, right? We had all these wildflowers. And on the way here, all I saw were sunflowers. So they're always there. They no se mueren. My love, they said they're tearing down all the sunflowers. My love. My love, they said they're tearing down all the sunflowers. In their place, milkweed. Milkweed in their place. The monarchs are gliding over rivers, their caterpillars needed for survival. They want to plant sunflowers on the moon, my love. My love, they said the moon will be full of sunflowers. They said they will send a grackle or two to make sure they grow, my love. My love, there's going to be a moon full of grackles. The moon will turn black. My love, the sky will be dark. There will be a squawking coming from the heavens, my love. I will plant sunflowers in your garden, my love. I will plant them tomorrow. Tomorrow, near your tombstone, I will plant sunflowers. Reason I don't own a gun. I don't want to go out the Hemingway, way out of this world, away from the fish I've yet to catch, fish out of sea, sea out of this world, without mastering the art of kissing, kiss, kiss, away art. You see, who will tell the stories that only I can? Cuentos, the bloody ones, the ones hiding on the edge of death's lips, the bloody and bleeding, cantos de sangre, sagrado corazón, sangre con cuentos, blood trails inside the stomach of the hanging tree have a voice. Voices of rotting fruit, of prison poems, of 20th century riots, of trigger-happy cops. But let's talk about the moon. La luna, moonshine, moonlight, light of the cachetona, fisgona, chismosa luna, gossiping moon, mentirosa and solstice. Who will uncover her true light if I go out to Hemingway? Witness to dream crossers, poetas with riverbacks, never wetbacks, only setbacks, always wading in water, waiting in compact spaces for the chota to drive away, go away, but not the Hemingway. Who will uncover the abortion of the sun, the love song, the kissing deep tongue, lengua en la garganta de la separada, separate but together, throat song con saliva, sin saliva, juntos, callejón cogidas, coger en callejones, apagando los cell phones, and vibrate, vibrando, vibing, and becoming the sun in a dark alley? I need to stay, the Hemingway stay. Depressed, stressed, undressed, caressed, cuerpo de oso, oh, so close. But who will tell on the oligarchy? Who will bleed on paper? Sangre, angry, lucha de lechuza, su lucha, la leche, leche de vaca, el gobierno es caca. Máscara, masquerade, massacre, mamadas, ¿dónde van esas? Code switch stories, switch code cuentos, duende. Who will foster my duende when I'm gone? Duende huérfano sin familia, orphan keys and orphan pennies and orphan poets y taquitos de muertitos. I don't own a gun. I don't want to be blamed. I don't want to be your terrorist. I don't want to be your brown man killer poster child. I don't want you to break down the door to my sacred space. I don't want to be on a documentary on the anniversary of my death and your death and their deaths.
Yeah.
So now, I wish you magic and love, empanadas y aguas frescas, sunsets and spices, cold fronts and hot soups, abrazos y besos, fireworks and new colors, tears of joy and friendships, babies and pets and art and poems, health and strength, vacations and couch cuddles, long walks and long baths, long kisses and long days off, inspirations and musings, resolutions that last and water, dancing feet and shower singing, flowers in your garden and bees, poems again, barefoot walks in your yard, rain dances and the moon, coffee and jazz, especially the jazz. Thank you.